we've been working on exact same concerns regarding Mumbai forest, which hosts the world's highest wildlife population in the middle of the metropolitan city. Our work concerns UNTOC crimes that India has signed, such as the human trafficking, money laundering, arms and ammunition smuggling, in which Mumbai Forest and Wildlife has been made a transit zone. During the course of the transit, the environment has been disturbed by local mafias by burning forest for constructing structures and dumping construction debris on the main roads that authorities avoid coming to the locations where sex and human trafficking and smuggling are carried out. What do you suggest shall our course of legal action be to make the authorities understand the complexity, since a lot of criminal patterns of organized crime aren't very well understood by many? Who wants to start? So what? How to make the authorities understand the complexity of these things? Kat, would you want to start?
Yeah, I was just gonna. I was looking to raise my hand,
Yeah.
but I'm used to Microsoft Teams. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's the continuous dialogue that's really important. So actually, by participating in cooperation initiatives like via Interpol or via UNODC, where we actually actively speak to each other and share those cases, that is definitely raising awareness. That then also encourages the intelligence sharing. And while I appreciate intelligence sharing is one of those phrases that everyone uses and abuses, it is actually crucial for us to notify each other of the trends occurring. And secondly, if we have our politicians actually involved at all sorts of levels, from local to national and international, and they're actually participating in meetings and conferences where the importance of environmental crime is raised, I think that can further actually spread the message that there is cooperation, we are aware of this, and we actually have ways to investigate those crimes so we can share the best practice.
Thank you very much. Nupur, would you?
Yeah, just to add to what the other panelists just highlighted, I think in this context, it would be really helpful to reach out to the local councillors, to engage the members of parliament that are involved in the areas. Of course, engaging with civil society organization on awareness raising. I do understand that, because this issue is presented by the local mafia, there is a certain element of, let's say, threat to security and intimidation, and there's an angle of corruption. So it's possible that they've already tried these avenues and they have not worked, because as we've already discussed, it's so complex. Yeah, but that would be my advice on the first go, without knowing the full details.
Thank you very much. Marco, any thoughts?
Yeah, I would just like to echo the idea of fostering the dialogue and strengthening, keeping an open channel of communication. One of the biggest problems that can be seen, like parallelly with criminal marine pollution, is that these actors, going back to the idea of whistleblowers, that they are afraid of sharing this information and communicating, because there are not enough guarantees for them to feel safe and to connect and to communicate with the authorities. So, and also raising awareness to sharing this information and making people aware of what's happening, to make it public. And for that, we really need like official channels to be sharing that information to, because sometimes we can find a lot of many reports, but they are not prepared by government departments, but by third parties. So sometimes that tends to reduce a bit of the understanding of the situation, or sometimes it makes them, in a way, so to speak, less valid. So I think it's very important to also focus on that, on having a good communication, an open one, and to include as many government officers and departments as possible.
I agree. Keeping the information flowing and keeping the information channels open, and also focusing on the operational argument, the operational effectiveness of doing this, and engaging civil society and really showing that it works, especially including women's groups in these kind of things.
I have identified identified and established all the patterns of organized crime related to sex and human trafficking, money laundering, and arms and ammunition smuggling in the middle of a dense forest with a significant wildlife population. However, I am unable to identify the specific types of mining crimes that are occurring, though I have a strong intuition of it being committed. What do you suggest should be my course of action to identify which mining-related crimes are carried in the region? So before I pass it on, my first 2 cents is, well, what is available and what is coming out? What is being traded as minerals from that region? Because there is a good chance that legal trafficking or legal trading of minerals is being infiltrated by minerals that are being exploited in a legal way. So that could be, so looking at the routes of transportation could be a way forward. But that's my just 2 cents, and then I want to open it to either Rina, Livia, or Carlos, if you have any suggestions for this question.
If I
Livia, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult, of course, now to say what to do, but I think that in every country, you have highly specialized either NGOs or other individuals, international organizations, that they would have a notion to a certain extent if that region is being affected by different forms of crime. So the first thing I would do is see what kind of organizations are working in that region, or thematic groups, focusing, for instance, as you were saying, on wildlife trafficking, where it's a prominent wildlife region. So I would try to seek the support from other organizations and see what the expertise and the research has been there.
Thank you so much, Livia. Rina, Carlos, I do not know if you want to add anything else either to this question or in general to close your discussion, or our discussion rather.
So with regards to the question, I think we have to know the legislation of each country. In Brazil, we have in our legislation the possibility of the small scale or artisanal mining, but it has to fulfill all the so there might be some legal artisanal mining, and if it doesn't fulfill all the requirements according to the legislation of the country, then it will be a crime. Yes, it will be a mining related crime related to the artisanal mining. But I just want to thank you for the opportunity to have allowed me to be here, to be able to share part of the research I have been able to develop. And also it has been great to listen to other people with international expertise in the mining sector, and also with this gender dimension, which is very rich for us and for me as a researcher, to really have this public debate on this topic, which is a topic which is convergent all around the world and also very complex, and different regions sharing the same issues. Environmental issues, violence issues, and everything which has to do with the Amazon region, with the prostitution and the trafficking of human beings. So these are very tricky and complex issues, and it's important to discuss them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Rina, any last elements before I close the panel and our discussion?
Thank you so much also for the opportunity from my side, and yeah, just to remotely maybe make a point relating to the last question. I think this question of knowledge more broadly on a policy level, it's important from the office's perspective always to center also the knowledge of women, and especially indigenous women and those in local communities, and in kind of the production of data and the data that we use. And there's increasing work that we're doing also then on the other side on scrutiny of this over-reliance often on industry-produced data, and which can involve many conflicts of interests and greenwashing and certain claims, as you were saying, about the value chains and so on. So this is kind of an area which links more broadly, and then can hopefully over time precipitate to that local level where then we wouldn't face so many of these issues. But
Thank you so much.